Have you ever wondered if you can put a QR code in your Forge of Empires city? No? Well, today we'll find out. I'm UberNerd14 and welcome to one of the weirdest video ideas I've ever had. So first up, if you don't know, a QR code is one of these thingies, basically a small image of two colors of pixels that cameras can easily scan that can store and share links, text, contact info, or basically anything else. And in my opinion, this should be possible to do in Forge of Empires. After all, the city grid is just a square grid that's kinda squished. My first thought of how to make a QR code was to use roads, for quite a few reasons. They are flat, so they won't cover each other up. They come in a variety of colors, and finally, they are square like the pixels in our QR code. But then came the question of which road to use. The important thing for a QR code is that there's enough contrast between the pixels. This basically means that the difference in brightness or color between the two colors in the code, and the QR codes can be scanned if they have at least 20% contrast. I originally intended to make the code using the brightest road I could find and then use the green grass of the city background to provide the other color. Why? Because the number of roads needed is really high. For one of the smallest QR codes, 25 by 25, including the border, is a total of 729 pixels, or in our case, roads. I started by placing down all of the 1x1 roads that I have unlocked up to my current age, the virtual future. Which do you think stands out the best? I originally thought that the Arctic Sideway, being dark gray, would work pretty well. However, when we reduce the saturation, you can see that many of the roads blend in with the city background. Ultimately, I ended up using the postmodern era walkway as the white and the Arctic Sideway as the contrasting color. I had problems using only one type of road with the city background, as not many road ends are as square as I'd like without other roads next to them. Then I had to find a way to fit all these 729 roads into my city. I ended up deleting all non-essential buildings, storing several of the largest event buildings in my city. Finally, with a city layout with more roads than there should be, I did it. 729 roads exactly. As you might expect, I got some messages from guildies asking why I had so many roads in my city. If only they knew. Anyways, the QR code. I used a QR code generator website to create a lovely QR code and painstakingly placed each pixel of the code into reconstruction mode. If I wanted to actually do this as a permanent fixture in my city, I'd need even more roads on top of what I already have to connect buildings to my town hall. And finally, after taking way too long placing roads and double checking my work, I was finished. All I had to do was scan it and it should work. It wouldn't scan. I had sort of expected this, as I didn't expect the code to work first time, but I had still hoped. After 15 minutes of trying to see if I created the code wrong, I figured out that the problem is that the angle my phone's camera can see the code at is wrong. Instead of grabbing it straight on, if I came at it from the side, it looks more square, and with that, the code is able to be scanned. I'd listen to the message if I were you. So that brings us to the answer to my question. You can indeed put a QR code in your city. However, there are limits. The largest square space that you have in your city is 56 by 56 tiles or 14 by 14 expansions, but the largest QR code you can fit in this space is a version 9 QR code with 53 by 53 tiles or about 176 expansions worth, for a total of 2,809 tiles. You would be able to store up to 335 characters in this theoretical code, but you'd be using 80% of all the space you'd have with all the expansions unlocked. If anyone does decide to do this, best of luck to you and please notify me. And that's going to be all for today. I'll link the QR code documentation in the description if you'd like to learn more about how QR codes work. This is a completely different style of video from what I've produced so far, so if you made it this far, please leave a comment and drop a like. If you really enjoyed this video and want to see other videos like this, I'd appreciate you subscribing. And as always, see you next time.